You are listening to Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, aspiring actors. With me, Louise, the artistic director of Standby Method Acting Studio. And every week, I'll be talking with you and sharing how you can become a paid, working, unstoppable actor, because you 1000% can. An acting career is doable. Are you ready? Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Unstoppable Actors podcast. I'm so excited, as always, to dive into this subject. I think it's a real juicy one. We're going to be talking all things, why your acting career hasn't quite taken off either the way you expected it to or the way others expected it to. We're going to have a look into that, and we're going to explore the things that you can do to turn this around, because I think this is one of the common problems that so many actors, aspiring actors, and those who are resting actors experience. And it can be one of the things that can really start to play on our mind and also, lead to us losing motivation, even though we know in our heart of hearts, we absolutely love acting 1 million, gazillion, trizillion %. Like, it literally can lead to us losing motivation and then getting stuck in this cycle where things seem to get worse and they spiral. And before you know it, we're literally in this day job that also bloody, makes us feel even more unmotivated in life because we really don't like it. So we're going to dive into all of that. I've got some really good tips up my sleeve for you. It's something I've definitely experienced myself. It's something that I've seen my students experience as well. So I'm going at this from two angles, really, from my own personal experience and also from my experience of coaching actors over the last 12 years and sort of seeing their journey and what blips have got in their way and, what's really caused them to stagnate in their acting career. And then the advice that I've given them, I'm going to share with you, which has helped them turn it around. Now, before we dive into this, if you enjoy this episode, I'd absolutely love if you could give this a share to your socials, because it helps me help more jobbing actors. It helps me help more resting actors and aspiring actors get out of these little blips that are so easy to get sucked into. And it really is my mission to empower and inspire actors of all levels to become unstoppable and to change their lives, because I know it can happen and I know it's doable. And the other thing I want to share with you before we dive in is I just want to say we've got a giveaway coming up soon, and I'm really bloody excited about this because you can win free access to one of the best online method acting courses around. It's called Total Character Immersion. Now, the giveaway hasn't started yet, it hasn't opened yet. I'm just giving you a bit of a heads up in case you want to enter. All you need to do is just go and follow us on Instagram, and our Instagram handle is at Standby Method Acting Studio. So that's at Standby Method Acting Studio, and you will basically see first when this giveaway opens, and you will be one of the first to enter it if you feel drawn to entering it and winning this amazing method acting course. So let's just get straight into it then. So I think one of the problems with an acting career is this. Firstly, it's not a conventional career. I think we can all agree on that, right? It's not one of those careers where you get a salary, every single month and you're working 9 to 5 not every single day, but like 5 days a week. It's not one of those kind of careers. It's not conventional. And you've probably heard people saying that there's no guarantees with it, which is absolutely correct. There are no guarantees. The only guarantees there are is that, you have to put effort in. It's not a safe job. If we think about, like maybe working in a shop or, I don't know, any other job, where there's a salary, it's a safe job, isn't it? Because there's the safety that you're going to get the wage at the end of every single month. Whereas with acting, there isn't, because of this effort that it requires on your part. And I think it's this effort that scares a lot of people, because, you might be putting a lot of effort in and not realize that it is the wrong effort, and you're putting your energies into the wrong things that are not actually building the momentum that you want in your acting career. And so, of course, what starts to happen is that we can quickly lose motivation, as I mentioned in the beginning. And so things don't happen as quickly as maybe we might have wanted or other people might have wanted. And we can start to put pressure on ourselves And we can start to feel the pressure from other people who might be telling us that, this is not a real job. You're not getting a salary at the end of every single month from this. And can you really live off this job? Like, can you really live off of acting? Can you really have the lifestyle that you want from acting? So all of this can start to really play into our worries. And it like I've already said, like a number of times, it can make us lose motivation and it can make us doubt ourselves. And, there's many people around who are going to tell us acting's not a real job. It's just something that should be pursued as a hobby. And this isn't helpful. So like I've already said, you might be putting a ton of effort in, but it might just be that there's like a little shift of the needle that needs to happen. Maybe you're just like 1 degree off. It's like an aeroplane, isn't it? If the aeroplane, when it's on autopilot, is set to 1 degree off, like literally 1 degree is the smallest amount ever, and the aeroplane is supposed to be going to Turkey, but it's 1 degree off, it can end up in a complete different other country to the one that it intended to be at, which was Turkey, just for the point of this example. So this is what I'm talking about. This effort that you're putting in actually might not be the right effort that we need to put in. And this is one of the reasons that your acting career might not be taking off the way you expected it to. And of course, that can make us feel down because we can go, but I am putting all of this effort in and I'm doing loads of things and nothing is happening. And then we can start to think things like, oh, well, maybe an acting career just isn't meant to be for me. And I'm here to tell you that that's not true. Like, you need guidance and you need an objective eye on this. And when you're in it, when you're in the midst of everything, it's very, very difficult to be objective because your emotions are involved in this. You are investing a lot of time, possibly a lot of money, a lot of energy, and you might even be making a lot of sacrifices. So we're going to look into the things that might be just shifting your awareness away from what you actually need to be focusing on, which is why your acting career isn't quite taking off the way you expected it or others. And I just want to reassure you that you can turn this around. Don't doubt yourself. I know it's like difficult not to sometimes, especially when, we're having a bit of a crappy day, which we all do because we're human, but don't doubt yourself. You can turn this around. I believe in you. I know you can, but really you have to believe in yourself. So let's just have a little look then. So the first thing is time. So if your acting career isn't taking off the way you wanted it to, or it started stagnating, you need to have a look at your time. Like, you really need to assess what's going on in your week and where you're giving the most energy to time-wise. The one thing that I've discovered about actors over 12 years of coaching them is that because we're so creative, and by the way, this is coming from a good place. I'm not here to shame you in any way. Like, life is just one big bloody lesson, isn't it? And acting just happens to be in life. So it's all just one big lesson. So I'm just here to help you learn. But because we are so creative, actually what that can mean for a good majority of us is that we're not organised and we don't organise our time well. So what we do is we end up spending more time on things that we think are important or that actually might be important, and it's leaving very little time for our acting career. Now, if you know that this is what you've got to do with your life 1,000%, and hand on heart, you are not going to be able to live a fulfilling life doing anything other than acting work-wise, then you've got to get organised with your time. So what I would recommend doing is, for a couple of weeks, is documenting where you're actually spending your time. Now, obviously, if you've got family commitments, that's important. That is going to be like so high up on your priority list. Of course it is. I'm not denying that, and I'm not saying cut out your family and stop talking to them. This is definitely not what I'm saying. But what I am saying is, what is actually high up on your priority list over these 2 weeks of documenting your time? What are you giving your energy and effort to? And if it's things like scrolling on social media, I mean, this morning, I'm going to be honest, I woke up at 7:30. And then I noticed, and I'm a bit embarrassed to say this actually, I didn't even realise that I'd been on social media and on my phone for 2 bloody hours. I was like, what the hell? So what that means is that today I have made social media and my phone a very high priority because I've just wasted 2 hours on it. And I really had to like shake myself and go, hang on a minute, Louise, like, what are you actually doing with your life? Like, this is not moving it forwards. So when you start documenting the time and what you're spending your time on over a 2-week period, you will start to see the time leaks. And that social media scroll for 2 hours and phone scroll for 2 hours was a time leak. And I've had to have a word with myself and say, come on, no, like, you don't need to be doing this. It's not moving your life forwards, as I've already said. It's not making you feel better, and it's not being productive. It's not a productive use of your time. So what you really need to do is go, okay, when I've looked at this 2-week diary, it might be that you keep, it might be notes that you keep on your phone, it might be, I don't know, if you like spreadsheets, you might do like an Excel sheet, although to be honest, like, many actors are very creative and don't like that kind of thing, but there are some of you that do, so you might keep an Excel spreadsheet of your time. But either way, you're going to start to see those time leaks, and you are going to have to move them right to the bottom of your list because they're not important. They are not going to make your acting career take off. And sometimes we can fall into the trap of going, yeah, but I was looking in Facebook groups for actors, for castings, and yeah, but I was looking on Twitter for castings. But before you know it, we get sucked down a rabbit hole of like 3 ways you can bend a spoon with your left ear. And it's like, whoa, like, how, do you know what I mean? It's so easy to get into those kind of little holes, but how is that even helping us? And they're so addictive, these stupid things that we see on the internet. So yeah, you've got to take a good, honest, objective look at what you are actually doing with your time. And you have to move acting to the top, not the top of your list, because obviously, you know, maybe family comes first or maybe your health comes first, but it has to be at least in the top 5 priorities of your life. Otherwise, your acting career is never going to take off. So that's the first thing. Now, the second reason that your acting career might not have taken off the way you hoped it would is because of lack of confidence. This is something that I can speak to on a personal level. When I first came out of my professional training, I was what I thought was very proactive. I was actually on lots of casting sites. I was regularly applying for work, and I got a lot of recommendations, actually, and that's how I got a lot of my paid acting work. But there was a part of me that was hiding. There was a part of me that wasn't as visible as I really could have been in the acting industry. And that is because I'd had a bit of a crappy experience in my professional training, which I talk about on our Instagram page. So you can go and have a look at that. It's about some really disrespectful feedback that I got. So definitely go and have a look at that if you're interested. But that really hindered my confidence, and that made me hide. So you might be like looking regularly for castings. You might be showing up, but are you showing up 100%? Is there any part of you that is hiding? Like, you've got to ask yourself this question objectively. It's not to beat yourself up. It's not to shame yourself. It's not to get into a spiral of saying nasty things about yourself. It's to objectively look at this and go, am I hiding? Is there a part of me that is lacking confidence with an acting career? Am I doing things that are safe, that I feel comfortable with? And one of those examples might be that you're staying in unpaid student films. You know, you might be very proactive on your casting sites and you're applying for a lot of films, but you're staying in a comfort zone of low-paid student films. Or it might be that, you know, you do a lot of talking about acting and a lot of thinking about acting, and you watch a lot of films and you feel really, really inspired, and that makes you feel like you're being proactive, but actually it's a false sense of proactivity. Actually, what you're doing is you're really hiding, and you're not being this confident person that is actually inside of you. So you need to have a real good chat with yourself. You know, I particularly like journaling. So what I would do is I would, in my journal, maybe write at the top of my page, like, am I hiding from an acting career? Or am I lacking confidence somewhere with my acting dreams? And then I would literally just free write on it, because when I free write without thinking, what happens for me is something comes out of my unconscious that I wasn't aware of. And then that's usually the answer. And I go, oh, bingo, that's the thing that's been making me hide. And now I know what it is. I can do something about it, and I can learn, and I can improve, and I can grow. So that might be something that you want to do. But if journaling doesn't work for you, maybe you just want to record yourself on your voice app or on your recorder on your phone, or maybe you just want to record yourself on a video on your phone and just talk and talk and talk and talk without thinking until something comes out where you're like, oh, hallelujah, I found the answer. But yeah, lack of confidence is usually one of the reasons that our acting career isn't quite taking off the way we want it to, or is stagnating. So it's always good to check in with ourselves. It's good to check in with ourselves regularly and ask ourselves, how confident are we feeling? Then the next thing is, maybe you are putting your time into the right places. Maybe you're not lacking confidence. Maybe you're feeling very confident and you believe in yourself and believe that you've got the talent, and you believe that you've got what it takes to make it, whatever make it means to you. But has your talent stagnated? This is something that we really ought to be checking in with regularly as well. You see, you might be getting yourself out to a ton of auditions. You might be getting regular self-tapes, you might be getting regular Zoom auditions, you might be getting regular meetings, or you might even be getting to a lot of in-person auditions. But this is where, us as creatives can sometimes, not really think from a business mindset. You have to look at how many auditions are you converting into roles. And you really want to be keeping track of this. Maybe you're writing down every single week how many auditions you've had. And then at the end of each week, you review and you go, okay, how many offers did I get? Or how many recalls did I get? And again, this is not for you to beat yourself up. It's not to get into a spiral. It's not to bully yourself. It's to look at the evidence to go, oh, okay, something's not quite right here. Something's not working. And usually if you are getting yourself out to a lot of auditions, but you're converting not very many of them at all, rarely any, or it's a very low number, is because your talent has stagnated. Now, have you, and again, this is just an objective question I'm asking, have you stopped training? Have you put auditions as a priority over training? Because if you have, then there's something that's going wrong with your talent. There's not something that's going wrong, sorry, but there's an issue with it. You have to balance the two. You have to continuously train, even, when you're feeling like, God, I'm putting a lot of money into training and blah, 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 it's not getting me anywhere. But if you're that kind of person who's proactive and who is applying for a lot of roles, then you've got a good balance. The training will eventually pay off. I think too many of us come from this scarcity mindset of, no, I need to hoard all the money I can and I need to save money and keep money. But here's the thing, if you've got a full-time job, then you're going to be okay. Or even if you've got a part-time job, you're going to be okay. As long as you manage your money well, you're going to be okay on some level. But if you are going out to a lot of auditions and you're not getting recalled and you're not landing the roles, something is happening with your talent. It's stagnated somewhere, and it means that you are not taking an objective view and you need guidance. I mean, at Standby, we truly believe the craft first for long-term success. Some of our students have trained with us for years upon years upon years upon years upon years, and they've been proactive at the same time. And because they've built that momentum of constantly training and constantly getting out to auditions, the tipping point is happening where they're getting cast in big productions, and those big productions pay big money. So that means that all the investment, the financial investment they've made in training is actually paying off. Actually, it's more than paying off because their return on investment is huge. They're getting way more money for the jobs that they're doing for what they put into their training. So that's something for you to consider. And then the next thing and the final thing, I mean, this is not an exhaustive list. There are other things as well, but I just want to share with you the main things that I've seen in my own acting career and in coaching actors as well. And I don't want to overwhelm you, but the final thing I'm going to share in this podcast episode is that you might have got yourself into a mind swamp. And a mind swamp is one of those boggy, messy places where you've got no clarity, and you're not being objective, and you're telling yourself all the reasons why an acting career isn't happening, and you're making these excuses real to you, and you're just in a bit of a hole mentally. And it is so bloody easy to get into one of these mind swamps, because once one negative thought appears in your mind, then you'll start to attract like another 4, 5, 6 negative thoughts. And this is not about being a positive Polly, and it's not about toxic positivity. It's about being objective. Like, you have got to start challenging the thoughts that are in your head. It's a bit like when I used to work in sales, right? So I'd done my professional training, and then I used to work in sales, and it was commission only. So I literally did not get a basic wage. And if one person said something like, "Oh God, it's not very busy today, is it?" That would be an example of a mind swamp thought, because that person is making an excuse, "Oh, it's not very busy," but yet there are still people around to go and pitch. There are still people that you can go and talk to. Do you know what I mean? Even if it's not very busy, you make the best of the situation. But then what used to happen is then someone else would go, "Oh, yeah, it's not very busy, is it? That's why we're having a crap day." And then the next person would say it. And then before you know it, we're all in this mind swamp, and everybody's having a crap day, and nobody's making any sales or closing any deals, because now we all believe, "Oh yeah, it's not very busy, so it's a crap day." And we attach ourselves to this excuse of, well, it's not very busy, so that's why we're not doing well, rather than looking objectively and going, actually, am I getting myself out there? Am I asking enough people? Am I being proactive? Am I keeping my mood elevated? Am I reminding myself of why I'm doing this? Am I still passionate about this? It is so easy to get into a mind swamp. So that's an example from my sales days. But, you know, there's a million and one things that we could be thinking with an acting career that get us into a mind swamp. Like, "Oh, well, you know, the industry is just coming out of a bad period." Well, obviously it is. Like, work did dry up in the acting industry. But what I want to challenge that with is, well, then how come there were still actors that worked, and unknown actors that still managed to get work and still managed to get agents? How did that happen? That happened because these actors did not get in a mind swamp. These actors did not get bogged down with, "Oh, well, there's not much work going on, the industry's closing down, it's the lockdowns, so, you know, I'll just take my foot off the gas." No. Like, these actors stayed proactive, stayed passionate, stayed motivated, and actually used the situation to their advantage. So to get yourself out of a mind swamp, you need to really challenge these thoughts. You know, you can write down what your thought is and then challenge it with, you know, either actual evidence or just challenge it with a new thought. And that will really get you out of that and will make you feel more motivated. And then when you feel more motivated, you're going to be more proactive. Now, what I don't want to say is, "Oh, well, just because you get yourself out of a mind swamp, that means that, well, you're going to get an audition the next day." That might not necessarily happen. But the key to getting your acting career to take off and to build that momentum is consistency. You have to be consistent with it in all areas. So if I run you back through this list of the reasons, you know, these few reasons, there's more than this. And obviously, you can add them into the comments of this podcast. I'd love to hear from you. But this is just like a baseline. Like time, like, where are you actually spending your time? Are you prioritizing acting? Is it up there on the top of your priority list, along with the other things like health, family, relationships, etc.? Lack of confidence and hiding away. Your talent stagnating and you not making, developing your talent a priority. And the mind swamps. Like, all of these 4 things are going to stop you being consistent with your acting career. And that's why it will stagnate. It's why it won't take off. Consistency builds up momentum. Even when things aren't happening as quickly as you would like, if you stay consistent, it is common bloody sense. It's common sense that at some point there is going to be a tipping point where things take off. I think the thing for us as actors is we just don't know where that tipping point is, and that can be a bit scary. And, you know, sometimes we want reassurance that, 2 years after I've been in the game, that the tipping point is going to happen then, and then I'm going to get that TV role. But nobody can guarantee where that tipping point is. but we can guarantee that if you keep going with an acting career, and also at the same time have other things that you're passionate about and interested in, so you don't just obsess over acting and think of nothing else, the tipping point will come. It has to. It's like someone, this might be a rubbish example, but just go with me on it. It's like someone who robs people's houses, right? I was brought up in a council estate, and there were people that used to do sneaks, is what they were called. Like, they'd sneak into someone's house without anyone knowing. Like, in the middle of the day, they'd do it, and then they'd nick a load of things and whatever. But it's common sense, isn't it, that if someone keeps sneaking into someone's house and nicking things, eventually they're going to get caught. They might have a good run for 2 years, 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of sneaking into people's houses and nicking things and not getting caught. But eventually they will get caught because they will be in the wrong place at the wrong time. And that's the thing for you as an actor. If you keep taking action and you keep being consistent, eventually that tipping point will happen because you will be in the right place at the right time. But you've got to be out there and visible and doing the work and taking action. Now, if you are half-arsed about an acting career and you're like, I love acting, but you know what? I don't know whether I can be bothered putting all this effort in. Don't follow it professionally, is my advice. Do it as a hobby. Do it on an amateur level. Do amateur dramatics or, extra work or whatever, which is fine. But if you are 100% dedicated to this and you know you want this and you know how life-changing it is, then take these tips that I've used and reflect objectively. I really hope this has been useful. I hope it's given you some perspective, and I hope it's invigorated you and reignited your passion, or made you go, oh my God, yeah, that's the thing that's been tripping me up. And if it has, I would absolutely love to hear from you. Leave me a comment. And I'm just going to remind you that we've got a giveaway coming up soon where you can win free access to our online method acting course, Total Character Immersion. So just come along to our Instagram page at Standby Method Acting Studio. Come and follow us there and have a little look so you can see first when this giveaway starts. And I'll see you in the next episode. I have absolutely loved hanging out with you, and I really hope you enjoyed this episode of Unstoppable Actors, the essential podcast for ambitious, aspiring actors. Now, if you did, I'd really love you to subscribe so you never miss an episode, and leave a review. And if you would like weekly injections of inspiration, you'd like mini method acting challenges to keep you making progress with your dreams, come and join the most supportive acting community online by clicking the link in the notes to help you become an unstoppable actor.